Big day. The team feel we now have enough info following our talks with possible drivers that we can now start negotiating contracts. Drivers who we've had at least an early meeting with may now be receptive to discussing a contract. Time to get things ready for next season.
Well, there we are then. Hello everyone and welcome back to round 16 of our F1 25 My Team Career Mode. Yes, we're back this weekend for the Italian Grand Prix at the Temple of Speed. But before we go into that, we have got a huge thing coming up. The contract window is now open. As you will have heard there, we've reached the point in the season where obviously we can now start talking to other drivers about next season. Now, we've had a couple of meetings with different drivers. Gabriel Bortoletto and Isaac Hadjar have both come towards us and are potentially looking to try and make a move for next season. Now, currently, Gabriel Bortoletto apparently is trying to do that undercover from Kick Sauber at the moment. But Isaac Hadjar, we have made it very clear that we have been trying to talk to him in recent times. So I want to try and continue having talks at the moment. As you can see, he wants to try and achieve 2 top 10 race finishes in the season. Otherwise, we have to give him $870,000. That's kind of dependent on what he can do next season, but there's a 64% chance that we can try and sign him ready for next season. So I think we're going to try and send that contract and see.
Now we wait. Hopefully we'll hear back soon, but these things do tend to drag on. Let's keep our fingers crossed and just focus on what we can control. I'll let you know if I hear anything.
Well, there we go then. Yeah, we do need to try and improve the vehicle performance at the moment as well. But Gabriel Bortoletto, what is he hoping for? He wants a 6th place car. That seems highly unlikely, so I think we'll just stick with Isaac Hadjar at the moment. Can we talk to anybody else, though, right now? As you can see, Verstappen and Charles Leclerc really do require the big bucks inside this game, but luckily we have got a fair amount of money as well. Franco Colapinto, he's one, of course, that I'm sure a lot of people are interested in signing. Ollie Behrman is another one. Kimi Antonelli, I feel like, is so undervalued inside this game as well. So maybe we could be looking to try and sign him in the near future. But I think we're going to try and go with someone a little bit more high profile. I want to try and engage with talks with Yuki Tsunoda. He's a little bit more expensive, but maybe, just maybe, if he's not happy with Red Bull, we could try and sign him in the future. But all of that out of the way, all the initial excitement, of course, a massive thank you to everybody for the continued support on this series. If you missed out on Zandvoort yesterday, go back, check it out. Get yourself subscribed. We're trying to hit 150k on the channel as well right now. And if you want early access to all these videos, you'll get to find out early who we sign ready for next season. Click that join button for just £1 a month as well. But yeah, without further ado then, let's return here to the Temple of Speed.
They call it the Temple of Speed and the pilgrims have come to worship. It's all about the speed today. Qualifying awaits us. Welcome to Monza for the Italian Grand Prix.
But it's clearly something I'm doing wrong with the car then, because even Dennis Hauger is safely up in the battle for Q2. He's got 9/10 of a second clear of me at the moment, and we seem to be losing most of it in the final sector of the lap. So let's see what we can do then as we head out for our second run. Like I said, we need to find probably close to a second here, as 215 miles an hour on the run towards turn 1. Get the car stopped just at the 100-meter board there. You cannot attack that first curb like you could back in F1 24, so going to have to definitely be a little bit more careful with it. Need to use my battery a bit more effectively as well. Use it all on the run towards Curva Grande, but breaking about 100 meters out there. Oh, again, just a little bit wide through the first part of the chicane. Luckily, we don't run through the gravel on the exit there, otherwise that would have cost us a whole lot more. But so far this qualifying session, things aren't working for me. The AI seem to be able to hang on with even less downforce than what I'm running here. So try and use a bit of battery down the back straight. We need to be really brave as we make our run through the Ascari chicane. Tip it in as aggressively as I can there. Try to attack the curbs on the exit. We'll do a much better job than we did last time. We found a couple of tenths of a second, but I'm very worried we're going to end up last here in qualifying. Unless I can nail this final corner. Well, even then, second-guessing myself ever so slightly. Well, we'll try and carry the speed off of it. Running a little bit wide there through the final turn. Back towards the line, though. last. We did go under 120, but I was just slow. And there we go then. Yuki Tsunoda fastest in Q1 on a 117.8. That is ridiculous. Bearing in mind we haven't got many upgrades on these cars at the moment. Quite a mixed up grid though early on. But Dennis Hauger does make Q2 by by half a tenth, I should say. But 6 tenths clear of myself there come the end of Q1. We were a tenth and a half away from Gabriel Bortoleto, who was another 2 tenths away from Stroll. So I've got to hope that the AI haven't got enough downforce and that we can make up some places in the race.
We're 12 miles northeast of Milan for today's Grand Prix at a Monza circuit where we can expect top speeds of around 215 miles per hour. 11 corners on this 3.6 mile track, with 7 of those coming in the form of chicanes. And with a good slipstream and DRS open, there should be plenty of opportunity for some passing here today. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And Lando Norris lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Russell, Yuki Tsunoda, and Piastri, Antonelli, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, and Carlos Sainz, Verstappen, Gasly, Alex Albon, and Lawson, Hauger, Behrman, Nico Hülkenberg, and Isaac Hadjar, Doohan, Stroll, Bortoleto, and Callum Voisin rounds off the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Well, after we spoke about Ferrari and Charles Leclerc's success here last year, he's on pole this weekend as well, as the team for some reason believe a 2-stop is going to be the way to go. I cannot see that being the case. I would rather box and go mediums in the second stint and just try to take them to the end of the GP. But apparently that is not going to happen. No idea why the team don't think it's possible, but that is certainly what I'm going to be trying to go with. Maybe that's how we elevate ourselves up the order throughout the afternoon today as well. Is tyre wear going to be high? That is anybody's guess. But starting on the hards though, quite a few of us opting to do the same. 5 red lights are on. And it's going to be lights out and away we go then for the Italian Grand Prix. Lance Stroll there initially got quite a good launch, but they're not able to do anything with it. All eyes, of course, will be on Kimi Antonelli at his home race as well. Nice and tidy in towards Turn 1. Found a little bit of an avenue down the inside, but I've found out far too many times this year that the AI can be very, very aggressive in kind of changing direction in towards the first corner there. Can't complain though with 3 places gained, despite the fact I never used any overtake on the battery, and almost immediately going to have to go a little bit defensive from Jack Doohan there. Hülkenberg trying to take up as much space in the road as he possibly can. I was tempted to try and have a cheeky send up the inside of the German. Not going to be able to do that on this opening lap there, as looks like Ferrari maintaining that 1 and 3 that they lined up on the grid. Max Verstappen, after winning last weekend, only starting P11 here today, so very disappointing for him. As look at the AI speed as we make our way down in towards Ascari for the first time. We've got a couple of cars going wheel to wheel there, and will that compromise everybody behind? Yes, it will. But I assume Leclerc's hung on to the lead. So we make our way through the end of lap 1. It looks like Hamilton might have moved up to P2, as what on earth is going on in front? You can see the car's almost 4 wide there, but it is Leclerc still leading. Hamilton, like I said, is up to P2 then. So the dream start for Ferrari is Jack Doohan. That Alpine here, obviously really, really quick last weekend. Looks to be really, really quick here as well, as Bortoleto and Doohan flying past me on the run towards Turn 1. Oh, I wanted to have a look back down the inside there. We'll accidentally cover off from Lance Stroll as well. But that got all a little bit too close for comfort. Right, let's give it a whirl then. Let's try and do a top speed test nice and early in this Grand Prix. Maybe not wise to use a load of my battery when I don't need to, but there goes 210, 215, 220, 222, yeah, 222. We were pretty much on the red line. That's a good comparison tool though, because we can see how that improves as we go through the game. Where is Stroll getting this speed from, man? Everybody seems to have way more top-end speed than us at the moment early on, including our teammate Dennis Hauger there, as Again, we will defend around the outside of Sir Lancelot on the run back down in towards that final corner. Now, though, Bortoletto, I think, has lost the DRS. So Stroll and I are both going to be gaining on the Brazilian on the run in towards turn 1. Oh, very, very late on the brakes, but we will get it slowed down there, nice and tidy. Hey? Bortoletto hit me on that side, and I got damage on that side of the car. How on earth does that work, EA? Maybe, though, that's made the car a little bit quicker, but that has got to be one of the stranger glitches I've seen. Oh, there we go, Jack Doohan, yellow flags out, and Doohan is going to be our first casualty then of the afternoon. Luckily, we'll be able to switch underneath him there through the final corner. We're trying to battle our way through the smoke.
Green flag, we're racing again, let's go.
Disappointing there for the Alpine man, and luckily for me, I guess that's held up Stroll and Bortoletto a load. But Hauger, he's definitely struggling as well. I wonder if it's the Renault engines, the gearing's far too short on them. If you guys remember back on F1 23, the Mercedes engine was like 10 miles an hour slower than everything else. I wonder if that's happened to Red Bull this time. And of course, the 1 year I pick Red Bull engines. I mean, we've just got to try and work with Hauger, don't we, in the early laps of this Grand Prix. Try and extend the stint as far as we possibly can. Yeah, there we go. That's just Jack Doohan's car all being cleared up. As we will get the DRS then on our teammate. Come on, man, don't fight it too much. There's no point. Down the inside we will go. And we are up then into 18th place. But again, we've spoken about it so many times recently, but the mediums just do not seem to work on a lot of these tracks. No idea what Hauger was doing on the way into the pit lane then, but we're going to be up inside the top 10 in this Grand Prix already. So I think we've got to try and extend this stint to end of lap 15 at the absolute minimum. But yeah, Leclerc's already come in pit and come out ahead of me. So any chance at a cheeky win, definitely not happening at the moment. Well, there we go. Load more cars into the pit lane then. Liam Lawson, Nico Hulkenberg, Antonelli and Ocon.
5 seconds.
We're up to 4th. I'm so confused as Dennis Hauger's already pit then as well in this race. Looks like one of the McLarens there is opting to stay a little bit longer, but I mean, what's Albon's strategy today? Is he trying to one-stop? Is everybody two-stopping? How is Monza not an easy one-stop? There we go, Oscar Piastri then into the pit lane. Albon's in! How has he only done 10 laps on a set of hards? What on earth is this? Is Hamilton going to fly past me on the run back down towards turn 1? I certainly don't think I want to upset the Tifosi this weekend by trying to block one of their men. But yeah, Lewis Hamilton though, Yuki Tsunoda, I was going to say, of course, he boxed earlier than everybody else and is up to P3 because of it. Like I said, my goal is just try and one-stop this. I wanted to get to about the end of 15. I don't think that's going to be impossible, but why are none of the AI trying it? Well, we now are admittedly starting to cause a little bit of a traffic jam in this race. George Russell stuck up behind us as we make our way down in towards the final sector. I didn't realise as well, they've changed where the DRS detection point is here, and now it's out of the final corner, so Russell, he will get around us.
Soon, so stay on your toes.
I am feeling those effects, Mark, I can't lie. As we get towards half distance then in this Grand Prix, there is the detection point now, as here comes Max Verstappen as well, trying to look past me. We're going to use all of our battery that we possibly can to try and stay close to George. And there goes the Dutchman then moving through. And the last thing I want to do is lose more front wing by going into the back of somebody. But I can't help but feel that this race is turning into, if you guys remember the Miami Grand Prix a few days back, yeah, that race we tried to make the one-stop work, and it just wasn't really the way to go. Hindsight is a beautiful thing inside F1 25, and well, it looks like today we might be in for another day of pain, but Ocon, he's going to be one of our battlers towards the end of the afternoon. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he pits now. So I want to try and keep him at bay there as the Haasman tries to have a look around our outside. We'll get the elbows out before we peel into the pit lane. And yep, there you go. Esteban is coming into the pit lane as well then. So we're still, we're fighting in and around that top 10. I'd certainly be surprised if we end up staying here by the time the checkered flag comes out. But all we need to do in the second half is just try and stick close to a lot of these guys. Come on, quick stop, please. Yes?
Go, come on.
Yes.
Perfect
Wonderful.
job on returning there, mate. Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one. Okay.
No
stay
idea
clear
why
of the white
Hauger's
line
in.
on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross onto the track.
Well, there we go then. Carlos Sainz, of course,
Dennis
he was
is
one
in
of
the
those
pits.
cars
In the
behind
pits
us
now.
in the race, so we need to try and get back in the range of the Williams as soon as we can if we want to fight with him towards the end. Sainz now, though, surely is going to try and go for the run, so we need to be as close as we possibly can by the time we get through the exit of the corner. I mean, Sainz is just pushing him. Stroll now finally decides to go defensive, and what on earth is this? Lance Stroll there putting on a defensive masterclass. It's like watching Verstappen trying to defend at the moment there. We make a huge mistake through the exit of Ascari. As again, you just see there, Sainz gets right up to him, but just cannot do anything in a straight line. Will we see Lance into the pit lane, though, at the end of this lap? Yes, we will. So Carlos Sainz then is going to be released in this race, has also allowed Ocon to get a whole lot closer to the pair of us. But we are back in the top 10. Oh, that's not a good sign. It's taken me one lap to lose the range to Carlos Sainz
Okay,
then,
you're
as
in
there
the top
goes
10.
Ocon up through and into the top 10. I believe we've still got Nico Hulkenberg out there, though, who still needs to pit. So maybe this battle is going to be between Sainz, Ocon and myself. And Gasly had a brilliant result last weekend. Looks to do the same today. I mean, there's going to be nothing we can do, surely, here against Pierre Gasly. Look at that around the outside. All we can try and do is stay in the wheel tracks and make sure they get the DRS back on him. Teams still reckon I can win the spot back. It's been the first time in a long old while on this game I felt this car is utterly rubbish. But tyre wear warning light has flashed up again then late on here, and I mean, we're just trying to keep Ollie Behrman out of the DRS range for as long as we can. I can't help but feel that he's going to get inside the range now, really try and nail that final corner, get on the throttle, use the battery as early as we can, but it is not going to be enough.
Last legs. Let's try to keep mileage on it to a minimum.
Not sure how the team expect me to do that. I've got 3.6 miles, that is every single lap around this circuit. But that might explain some of the lack of power this weekend. The turbo up to full capacity. But, you know, you kind of think, I still believe the one-stop was probably the way to go for us today. Otherwise, we were going to be battling for P20. The fact that we've almost been able to score, I don't think is honestly anything short of a miracle. I know I've just got to try and keep Fernando Alonso at bay as best as I can, but I'm really not sure what I'm going to be able to do here. Just try and follow the racing line there, give him the inside, and hope that he backs out of it. Looks like the AI still do that inside F125. If ever you're going to be going wheel to wheel with the AI, force them to the inside into Ascari and they just back out of it. This time around, Alonso won't know around the outside. He'll go down in towards the final corner, but hopefully we can try and get a run back on him in towards turn 1. You can just see how little bite we've got, though. Back end that time around, trying to come around on us. Trying to overtake the front. There's Ollie Behrman then. Here he goes. The Haasman trying to look around the outside with both, though, trying to close in on Fernando Alonso here. I'm going to box him in. Down the inside of Fernando. Not quite there, and certainly didn't deserve the space. So he kicks out the back end on the exit of the corner. And Ollie Behrman will have to settle for P13 for now. I mean, that front left looks beyond wrecked at this point, doesn't it? Ollie Behrman will say thank you very much, as we get a big wobble out onto the back straight as well. But we've got Antonelli and Albon not too far behind. Such a shame Kimi Antonelli can't even have a good home Grand Prix inside F125, but don't think Behrman will stay in the range of Alonso. So we need to try and stay in the range of Behrman here. Those extra few tenths could be critical by the end of the afternoon, but Charles Leclerc, though, at the front of the order. What a display this has been from Ferrari today. They have not dominated the Grand Prix here in I don't know how long. I've not seen the Ferrari team dominate around this circuit like this in many, many years. I'm trying to think back. It must be the early 2000s, you know, the Schumacher era, that we saw them able to run like this. But in towards the final corner, though, Charles Leclerc, he is going to win his 3rd Italian Grand Prix for Ferrari. I'm not even sure Schumacher can claim that. I believe he only won 2 of them here. What a drive it has been from Charles today. And once again, reminding everybody, Ferrari are here to fight for the championship. He will win the Grand Prix today. We're the only car, though, to attempt the one-stop, and, well, like I said, I still think it was the way to go. Hamilton will complete yet another Ferrari 1-2 finish as well, so they will be very, very happy, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations from here back to Maranello. In towards the final few corners we go, though. Like I said, I still think the one-stop was the way to go. You just got to be a little bit careful with that front left, a little bit more careful than I have been today. Front wing damage probably didn't do us any favours either, but from the back of the grid to P13, honestly, that is better than we probably deserve today. Sometimes you've got to try and throw the strategy out there. We didn't score points, but we had a good fun race nonetheless. What is the tyre we're on? 82, that is awful.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Charles Leclerc, what a drive, what a victory, he wins!
To come here and take victory as a team today on home soil was so important. You can see how much it means to them. The drivers there doing their part, the team's strategy was perfect as well, and the fans really embraced that. What a great atmosphere we had here today.
It's time to bring out the bubbly and spray it around. It's our podium celebrations. And who gets to take the top step of the podium? Yes, it is I, Leclerc, Charles Leclerc on top.
Well, there we are then. For the third weekend in a row, a third driver has absolutely dominated. This time round, Charles Leclerc in his Ferrari, pole position, fastest lap, race victory, 18 seconds clear of Lewis Hamilton come the checkered flag. What a drive that has been from Charlie Boy there. Yuki Tsunoda in P3, another good podium for the Japanese man, ahead of George Russell and Max Verstappen. McLaren will have wondered what on earth went wrong today for Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, with Ocon, Gasly and Carlos Sainz rounding out your top 10. From the back of the field, I think we gained the most places of anybody, and it was just Jack Doohan, of course, who had that mechanical failure early on, who failed to see the checkered flag. Disappointed with Hauger, to be honest. Should have had a lot more pace today, but clearly just had something in qualifying that he couldn't replicate as we got into the race. That means if we take a look at our World Championship, Lando's gap at the top slashed now to just 9 points, I believe, with 8 races to go of the season. Hamilton back ahead of Verstappen again, so still that four-way fight going on for the World Championship. Piastri 1 point ahead of Tsunoda. George Russell as well, actually very close to those two, so that could be another battle to watch out for between now and the end of the year. Ocon ahead of Antonelli goes to show just how consistently brilliant Esteban has been so far this year. We are still in P10, just ahead of Alonso and Pierre Gasly still, who is really picking up some good points late on this season. Constructors-wise, Ferrari 71 now clear of McLaren. Red Bull actually closing in on the orange team as well. We are still in 5th there, despite our Haas scoring even more points though, so I guess we can be pretty happy that we're still, you know, hanging on by our fingernails at this stage of the campaign. Thank you all so much for watching though. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back tomorrow ready for, I believe, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.